welcome back, guys. We just got through the town of Verona. We're back on the Wolf Creek Rail Trail and headed for Brookville. Now, the last time I did this route was on a Sunday morning, and the trail was just really crowded with people. My mentor, Russ, of the Russ is Right videos on YouTube, swears by getting out on the roads and definitely not getting on the bike paths or bicycle trails on the weekend, because there's just way too many people, both on bikes and people walking with their pets, their kids, and it just kind of cuts down on the ride. It's nice to be out here all by yourself. So I think I'm going to try to do the same thing. And like I said, the more I ride, the more comfortable I get mixing with traffic. But we do have a lot of old country roads where we don't have to worry about the traffic too much. Still got to check that mirror to make sure that nobody's sneaking up behind you. I ran into an acquaintance who was an old school cyclist, but due to health reasons had to stop. And he's been very interested in talking to me about getting an e-bike himself. But the last week, I've had trouble finding the time to ride, even though I'm retired. I know that may be hard to believe, but with family events and weather, sometimes it's hard to. The last time I rode was 8 days ago. So I'm probably definitely going to feel the pain tomorrow morning. But he emphasized the fact that even if you just ride around the block a few times, that helps you keep everything in tone and will minimize the pain and help keep you in a little bit better shape. And so I'm going to have to start doing that. So I live on a major U.S. highway, US 127, which runs from Michigan all the way down to Alabama. So it's a pretty busy road. There's a lot of semi-traffic on it, but there is an adequate shoulder. So I think I'm just going to have to get on 127. I don't have to go any farther than about a mile to get on a county road. So I can ride around that a little bit, even if I don't have the time to do a 20-mile ride. I can maybe just do 5 to 10 miles. It'll make it easier to get into condition and stay that way. So we're going to have to give that a try. Now, I started to touch on it at the beginning of the video as far as buying your e-bike, not online, but at a reputable bicycle shop that sells e-bikes. And that way, you not only get a bicycle that's already put together and has been inspected by a trained bicycle professional, and if there's any problems with damage and shipping, they deal with it, not you. And if anything goes wrong, you got somebody to take it back to. Besides that, you get to try out a variety of bikes and ride them and pick out something that you really like. There may be some things that you didn't consider when you purchased online, and you may come to regret that decision and purchase. So personally, I highly recommend just dealing with a bicycle shop. Not only that, but you're supporting a local business, and I've always been an advocate for that, having owned a couple of businesses down through the years. Okay, let's make sure it's clear, and it is. Yeah, in the first video, I talked about the advantages of purchasing from a brick and mortar store rather than online. And if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you feel confident in your ability to put everything together, that's well and good. However, you always run the possibility of there being damage in shipping. And if you're dealing with a reputable manufacturer, that's good. But most people get on Amazon and start looking around I almost forgot myself. I'm not supposed to be pedaling now. Here we go, back to the throttle. Yeah, initially, when I got interested, a friend told me about her e-bike and that she got it on Amazon. So I started looking on Amazon. Of course, there's 100 different manufacturers, you know, none of which were Huffy or Schwinn. They're all Chinese companies for the most part. I started looking at the reviews, and most of the 4- and 5-star reviews came from people, I think, just unpacked the bike, put it together, didn't have any problems, and rode it 2 or 3 times, and then wrote that glowing 4- and 5-star review. So you need to start looking at the 1-, 2-, and 3-star reviews and why, and most of them were that the bike was damaged, a part didn't work, and then they couldn't find anybody in customer service to talk to, or all they could do is email, and sometimes they'd never even heard from these people again. So, and the other problem is if you don't buy a bike from a brick and mortar store, a lot of stores will not work on a bike that they didn't sell you. And so that comes into problems. Where do you get your bike worked on? And then, of course, if you're having trouble getting parts or getting somebody at the company to talk to you, they're going to have the same problems. So in my case, the brick and mortar store that I purchased from is the Whitman's Bikeway Bike Shop in Miamisburg, Ohio, and they've been in business, I think, 40 years or so or more. And they're a dealer for the brand of bike that I have, a Venton. And any bike that you can buy online from a Venton, they add $100 to that price, and they put the bike together, put it through its paces, make sure everything works, there's no shipping damage, and I think that's the way to go. Here we are on Route 40 again, and it's clear, we're going across. And so, again, in my opinion, buying from a traditional brick and mortar store is the only way to go. You know, that's worth $100 to me to have somebody make sure everything is right on the bike, and then I don't have to deal with some guy in China who may or may not even be willing to support what he just sold me. So, unless you're willing to take a chance on that, or you can't afford the extra $100, you know, you're on your own. Now, I have a couple of problems with this bike, minor problems, one of which my brakes occasionally make some noise, and I think you can hear it right there. They gave me a product called Squeal Out, and that's just made for bicycle hydraulic disc brakes. And I put that on there, and that solved the problem for a little while, but as you can hear, still making some noise. So they said if it still does, to bring it back and they'll fix it. Either replace the pads or fix whatever the problem is. I'm also hearing, there it is, there's a little, it sounds like a tire rubbing on something, although I can't find it. And it just does it intermittently. It doesn't do it all the time. And it doesn't necessarily do it only when I'm pedaling. It does it when I'm not pedaling also. Yeah, there it is. But I think I'm going to take this portion of the video where I can hear it and show that to the people at the bike shop, and they might be able to isolate this and fix it. But again, I got somebody to take it back to that stands behind their product, and that's what I like. I got some people up here taking up the whole bike path, so I'm going to hit them with the bell a couple times. But I always slow down for pedestrians. I don't want a kid or a dog to jump out in front of me. Thank you. Another thing we can talk about is traditional cyclists, some of whom kind of look down their noses on the e-bike crowd. I don't know if they think that we're cheating or that the bike paths belong to them. In most cases, you can ride a class 1 or 2 e-bike on any bike path. There are some local jurisdictions, some county parks and what have you, they don't want you on their bicycle paths with an electric bike because the laws were written back before e-bikes even existed. And so the laws say, or the policies say in many cases, that the paths are for unmotorized vehicles. Well, of course, an e-bike has an electric motor, but it's not what they were thinking about back then. They were thinking about mopeds and motorcycles and 3- and 4-wheel ATVs and things of that nature. You know, an e-bike doesn't go any faster than a conventional bike. It's just that you have the option of using an electric motor to relieve you of some of the work when you need it. And so anyway, there is an organization called, I think it's Rails to Trails Conservancy. This is kind of a blind intersection, so I always want to make sure that it's safe. Anyway, the Rails to Trails Conservancy is an organization that are advocates for bicycle paths all over the country, and they've done a lot to pave the way with states and municipalities to create bicycle paths. So in other words, safe places for us to go. And the last issue, which was for spring or summer 23, spring and summer of 2023, had a very long article about the evolution of e-bikes and how it's impacting cycling and bicycle paths in general. And it was a very positive article, so I joined the organization. It costs like 30 bucks to join. You get I think a quarterly magazine, which you get both in print and online. And I think that we should get as many people that ride e-bikes to join that organization. And if some traditional cyclist gives you any problems, you can always say, well, I belong to the Rails to Trails Conservancy, so I kind of own this trail. Do you contribute? And we're going to have a much bigger voice if a lot of people join that organization. So I think the website is railstotrails.org, but I'll double check that and I'll put it in the comment section so that you can look them up and take a look at it. And I think it just makes a lot of sense for us to be a member of that organization and actually contribute a small amount of money to them. And it may help us out in the long run. But here we are approaching Brookville. So I think I've talked enough for today. And so we'll terminate the video and we'll see you next time. Remember, hit like and subscribe and help us to develop this channel. We'll see you all later. Bye.